what do you think about like questions and what kind of questions are helpful at kind of peeling back the behavior that somebody exhibits to understand what that behavior is meaning to them?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are the kind of SOI questions that you can ask, like, what did that mean to you? And what was most important to you in that?
And what are you listening for with those kinds of questions?
Well, what I'm listening for is what kind of perspective they can take on their own behavior and thinking. In the very generalized way, again, if someone says, well, because those are the rules, then, and if they can't sort of explain any more than that, then that would tell me something, that there's, a pretty concrete, literal understanding of what they're supposed to do. So it really is about the kind of perspective that they can take. How much responsibility do they take for their own behavior? Can they say, yeah, that probably wasn't such a good idea, but here's why I did it? Or can they, is it more, I don't know why I did it. I mean, there's so many things, but, when it's just about behavior, I mean, yeah, it's like, what was your thinking behind that?
And I can imagine conversations that leaders have with their employees all the time that could go beyond those kind of the typical conversations they have and kind of get at that. Why is that important to you? What's hard about that for you? What are you worried about? Any of those kind of sense-making questions.
Yeah. Or, I mean, a good SOI question is, what are you most worried about? Because that makes them kind of dig into not just what they worry about, but what's most, kind of helps get down more into the core of things. And, kind of more general questions about, how to try to understand where someone's coming from. I mean, you asked me earlier to think about, if you're interviewing a potential, like a candidate for a position, to ask someone, how comfortable or not are you giving critical feedback, and receiving critical feedback? How do you deal with conflict? What happens when something that you feel very strongly about, someone disagrees very strongly? How do you engage with that person around that disagreement? Those kinds of things that get at, how many perspectives can you take and hold at the same time? I mean, I think that really, perspective taking capacity is really kind of at the heart of what you're looking for.
That's really good.